love the Ravens as much as we do, then smash that subscribe button and stay locked in with Flock News for all the drama, updates, and excitement all season long. The atmosphere around the Cleveland Browns has been electrifying in recent days, with tensions between the Browns and the Baltimore Ravens reaching levels we haven't seen in years. At the center of this storm is none other than MYLES GARRETT, whose words and actions seem designed to set the entire league on fire. In an interview that has already gone viral, Garrett dropped what can only be described as a direct, calculated hint at the ongoing rivalry, claiming that the Browns are stronger, better organized, and more competitive than the Ravens. The statement sent shockwaves through fans of both teams, reigniting debates on social media and among analysts who can't stop dissecting every word. Beyond the superficial drama, Garrett's comments appear to reflect deeper issues within the Ravens camp, where recent reports suggest cracks in leadership, internal friction among players, and dissatisfaction with management strategies. While some might dismiss this as standard preseason trash talk, the intensity of Garrett's phrasing, coupled with the timing, indicates a deliberate strategy to assert dominance and fuel a psychological edge over Baltimore. Sports insiders are already speculating about how this could influence upcoming matchups, with coaches and players aware that rivalries are won not only on the field, but also in the minds of competitors. What makes Garrett's comments particularly incendiary is the context in which they were made. Against the backdrop of growing uncertainty in the AFC North, the Ravens, once considered a model of discipline and consistent success, have faced scrutiny over their quarterback situation, defensive cohesion, and recent injuries that have hampered their performance. Meanwhile, the Browns are seizing the moment to project confidence, emphasizing a culture of accountability and high expectations that contrasts sharply with Baltimore's current turbulence. Analysts suggest that Garrett is not just speaking for himself, but channeling the sentiment of a team that feels undervalued and underestimated. By openly comparing the teams and highlighting the Browns' superiority, he has put the Ravens on notice, effectively turning public perception into a battlefield. Fans are already split, with some praising Garrett's candor and leadership, while others fear that the rhetoric could escalate tensions to unhealthy levels. This exchange is more than media hype, it's a declaration of intent, a narrative carefully crafted to destabilize a rival and energize a fan base hungry for recognition and success. The broader implications of Garrett's statements are hard to ignore. Rivalries like this do not exist in isolation. They shape team dynamics, influence locker room morale, and even affect the mental preparation of players who now carry the weight of public expectations. Browns teammates have reportedly rallied behind Garrett, reinforcing the notion that the team is united in its desire to outshine Baltimore in every facet of competition. Meanwhile, Ravens officials are said to be closely monitoring the situation, concerned about the psychological edge the Browns might gain if the narrative continues to spiral in their favor. Sports psychologists and performance experts highlight that rivalry statements can have a double-edged effect. They motivate the speaker's team, but also place enormous pressure on both squads to perform, potentially leading to uncharacteristic mistakes or heightened aggression. The media frenzy surrounding Garrett's remarks ensures that this story will dominate headlines for weeks, creating an almost cinematic tension that fans thrive on. In essence, the comments are not just words. They are a strategic maneuver designed to influence games before the first whistle is blown, adding fuel to the fire. Insiders reveal that past encounters between these teams have been fraught with controversial calls, last-minute upsets, and personal clashes that left lingering resentment. Garrett, aware of this history, seems to be leveraging it masterfully, transforming collective memory into a weapon that amplifies his message. By framing the Browns as a team that has overcome adversity, while highlighting the Ravens' current struggles, he is constructing a narrative that appeals to fans' sense of pride, loyalty, and competitive spirit. This kind of rhetoric often transcends individual performance, creating a cultural identity around the team and reinforcing the belief that Cleveland is the dominant force in the division. Analysts note that this psychological approach can be just as impactful as technical preparation or physical conditioning, as it instills a sense of inevitability in teammates and fans alike, while simultaneously casting doubt in the minds of rivals. The interplay of history, perception, and verbal strategy makes this a fascinating case study in how sports personalities can shape the conversation far beyond the field. Social media has exploded in response to Garrett's statements, with memes, reactions, and fiery debates dominating platforms, fans of the Browns celebrate his candor as a symbol of leadership, applauding the way he champions his team while subtly challenging a historically dominant rival. Conversely, Ravens supporters are outraged, accusing him of disrespect and claiming that such comments are meant to provoke and unsettle. The narrative has become a viral phenomenon, with sports shows, podcasts, and influencers dissecting each word, tone, and nuance, while betting odds and predictions fluctuate in response to the heightened tension. This digital amplification ensures that the rivalry is now not just physical, but also psychological and social, affecting how players, coaches, and fans perceive every interaction. Analysts warn that while hype can motivate, it can also backfire if teams allow emotion to overtake strategy. In Garrett's case, however, the precision of his remarks and the unity of his team suggest a calculated risk, one designed to energize both the locker room and the fan base, setting the stage for a season defined by drama, intensity, and historic confrontations. The ongoing saga between Garrett and the Ravens highlights a broader truth about sports: that rivalries are as much about narrative and perception as they are about physical competition. In this context, the Browns are positioning themselves as not only superior athletes, but also as shrewd storytellers, using media, interviews, and public statements to construct a psychological upper hand. Garrett's role in this strategy cannot be overstated. He embodies the team's ambitions, speaks with authority, and channels collective frustration into a message that resonates far beyond Cleveland. As analysts continue to speculate about the ripple effects of his comments, one thing is clear: this is not a fleeting remark, but the opening salvo in what promises to be a season-long chess match between two of the most storied franchises in the league. Fans, players, and pundits alike are now eagerly anticipating how this rivalry will evolve, knowing that the next chapter will likely be written not only in touchdowns and tackles, but also in mind games, media exchanges, and the enduring battle for supremacy in the AFC North. As the story develops, speculation about the internal dynamics of both teams continues to dominate conversations among fans and analysts alike. Sources close to the Browns suggest that Garrett's bold statements are part of a broader strategy, not just a moment of bravado. Inside the locker room, players reportedly feel invigorated, as if a spark has been lit that will push them to elevate their game in every practice and matchup. Meanwhile, the Ravens are facing the opposite challenge, with whispers of unease spreading among the roster. Some players are said to be frustrated with coaching decisions, while others worry about the team's capacity to respond effectively to external provocations. The tension created by Garrett's comments is far from superficial. It is influencing preparation routines, mental conditioning, and the way each player approaches competition. Analysts suggest that rivalries of this magnitude are rarely resolved through mere athletic performance alone. Psychological dominance, media narrative, and the ability to control public perception can be decisive factors. In this context, Garrett's words function like a tactical maneuver, designed to assert control over both the narrative and the minds of opponents, reinforcing the sense that the Browns are the team with momentum, unity, and confidence while Baltimore scrambles to respond, adding to the intensity. There are reports that some veteran Ravens players are pushing back against Garrett's remarks, asserting that the team's history, achievements, and resilience cannot be overshadowed by a single statement. This dynamic creates a fascinating interplay of ego, pride, and legacy, where every word carries weight and every reaction becomes material for speculation. Observers note that such rivalries often extend beyond the field, influencing fan engagement, ticket sales, and even sponsorship interest, as audiences are drawn to the drama that emerges from competition combined with psychological warfare. Garrett's calculated approach seems designed to maximize these effects, positioning the Browns not just as contenders in games, but as dominant storytellers who can shape the narrative in their favor. Meanwhile, the Ravens are forced into a reactive position, their response likely guided by caution and strategic messaging intended to contain the fallout. This situation exemplifies the modern evolution of sports rivalries, where performance, media engagement, and public perception intersect in complex ways, and where the actions of a single influential player like Garrett can tip the balance, creating ripples that affect morale, strategy, and ultimately the trajectory of the season. Meanwhile, the digital realm has become a battlefield in its own right. Social media platforms are inundated with clips, quotes, and fan commentary dissecting Garrett's every word. Analysts on podcasts, YouTube channels, and sports networks debate the implications, often framing the discussion around broader questions of team culture, leadership, and resilience. In particular, the contrast between the Browns' apparent unity and the Ravens' rumored internal friction is emphasized repeatedly, reinforcing the idea that the rivalry is no longer confined to physical competition, but has expanded into psychological dominance and social influence. Fans have quickly taken sides, with heated exchanges highlighting loyalty, personal bias, and long-standing grievances. This environment creates an almost self-perpetuating cycle, where every public statement generates further media coverage, fan debate, and scrutiny, which in turn amplifies the pressure on both teams. Garrett, by entering this arena with intentionality, has positioned himself as not only a player, but a cultural influencer within the league, a role in which his statements carry strategic significance far beyond the immediate context of practice or gameplay. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. Adding another layer, rumors suggest that coaches from both teams are aware of the media frenzy and are attempting to manage its impact internally. Sources indicate that Browns coaches may be subtly encouraging Garrett's messaging as a motivational tool, while Ravens coaches reportedly seek ways to refocus the team on fundamentals without escalating public tension. This delicate balancing act highlights the complexity of modern professional sports, where psychological leverage, media optics, and internal cohesion are intertwined. Analysts speculate that the way each coaching staff navigates this situation could determine not only the outcome of specific matchups, but the overall trajectory of the season. In essence, Garrett's words have created a ripple effect, influencing tactical decisions, mental preparation, and even the strategic communication strategies employed by management. Rivalries of this magnitude are rarely simple. They require constant attention, adaptation, and a keen understanding of both athletic performance and human psychology. Garrett's calculated provocation, whether intentional or instinctive, demonstrates the power that a single player can wield in shaping both perception and competitive dynamics, raising questions about how far this battle of wills might escalate. There are also whispers among fans and analysts that the Browns' response to the situation could become a defining narrative for the franchise should the team successfully capitalize on the psychological momentum generated by Garrett's statements. They could enter matchups with a palpable edge, creating an aura of inevitability around their performance. Conversely, if the Ravens find ways to internalize the provocation constructively, they might emerge stronger, using the criticism as fuel for improvement and cohesion. The uncertainty adds a layer of intrigue, with every practice, press conference, and social media posts scrutinized for hints of the team's evolving mental states. In this environment, Garrett's comments serve as both spark and mirror, a spark because they ignite immediate discussion and emotion, and a mirror because they reflect the ongoing challenges, rivalries, and ambitions of the franchise. Is deeply entwined in competition. Sports fans thrive on this drama, and the narrative tension ensures that both teams will be under the microscope for months. With the psychological battle unfolding in parallel to every physical contest, analysts have noted that this kind of rivalry, fueled by carefully worded provocations, can significantly influence player behavior, sometimes prompting extraordinary performances or unexpected mistakes. Garrett's strategic boldness may motivate teammates to elevate their commitment, training intensity, and on-field execution, while also applying pressure on opponents who must balance focus and emotion. The long-term implications of this exchange are difficult to predict, but one thing is clear: the Browns and Ravens are engaged in more than a simple athletic competition. They are engaged in a multi-layered narrative battle that combines media influence, fan engagement, and psychological strategy. A modern evolution of rivalry that extends beyond touchdowns, tackles, and statistics. Garrett's role in this narrative is pivotal. His statements are not isolated comments, but a carefully considered maneuver in a high-stakes mental game that has the potential to shape the season in profound ways. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.